Hello, hello. Hello everyone. Welcome to Unacademy. So before starting today's session, I would like to have the input as well as the concurrence regarding the quality of video as well as audio. If the things have been perfect, just write perfect over like chat and then we are going to start today's session. In last two number of lectures, we had discussed about the integral calculation. The different varieties of the questions are been already been taken in the last class, and now the today's session is also been based on the same concept only. That means around 6 to 7 number of questions we are going to take from the concept of vector calculus once again. So let me take few number of questions which comes in your screen, and at the same time, as we had done it in last class, for the each and individual question I am going to give you approximately 3 minutes. So the timer would get start for the 3 minutes, and within 3 minutes you have to get solve that problem out. Agreed? So let me come down to my question. So again, straight away I am going to go into the vector calculus part. Yeah. So now we have been taking few number of questions based on the concept of vector calculus. Let me take this question. Let me take this question. This one. See, this kind of questions have been repeatedly asked in GATE examination, and they have been connected with the concept of gamma integration. So I would request to each one of you, let's have a look of gamma integration. So put it the heading as the topic which I am going to concern in today's class is going to be gamma integration. Gamma integration. My area of concern is going to be gamma integration. Gamma integration. Anyways, the derivation part is not been my area of concern. We would straight away hop into the important outcome which we had to remember related to the gamma integration. The first and important thing, when you will get to know that you have been dealing with the gamma integration, if the structure of the definite integral has been in this form, the integration has been from 0 to infinity, e to the power of minus x, x to the power of n minus 1 over dx. If any kind of the problem fits in this nature, definitely you had been dealing with a gamma integration, and its result stands for gamma of n. Gamma of n. Anyways, sir, what is been this gamma of n? Gamma of n is nothing but equals to n minus 1 factorial. Like if I take an example, the integration has been from 0 to infinity, e to the power of minus x, x to the power of 3 dx. In that case, n minus 1 is being 3, the value of n is equals to 4, and that becomes gamma of 4. So the gamma of 4 is being simply equals to of 3 factorial, and 3 factorial is nothing but 6. Similarly, if I had taken another situation, it has been x to the power of 1. In that case, n minus of 1 is being equals to of 1, so the value of n becomes 2. Gamma of 2 is simply equals to of 1 factorial, and virtually speaking the answer has been 1. But many of the times you'll see when you deal with the gamma of n, you also have a fractional number. In that case, what we do, we convert gamma of n with its reduced form, and that is being gamma of n minus 1 into n minus 1, n minus 1. The another important result which we can brought out of it, it's been gamma of half is equals to root over of y. This many important outcome you had to remember, nothing more, nothing less. First, the fundamental structure of gamma integration has been integration from 0 to infinity of e to the power of minus x, x to the power of n minus 1 dx, and that is stands for gamma of n. Then gamma of n can also be written as a n minus 1 factorial. Like the result has been gamma 3, you can take 2 factorial. Gamma of 10, you can take 9 factorial. Similarly, many of the times you might be dealing with like gamma of 3 by 2. If you reduce it to the factorial of half, obviously factorial of half is not been possible. In that case, what we would do use the next outcome, and that has been gamma of n is equals to of n minus of 1 into n minus of 1 gamma. And at last, the gamma of half is stands for root over of pi. Root over of pi. So let me take few number of numericals through which I would try to conclude few of the important outcome. Let's take, you had a 2 or 3 different kinds of problem. Let's take the 3 different kinds of the problem I had been taking over here. I had been performing the integration e to the power of x, x to the power of n minus 1, and I need to get its worth. Let's take, I had taken a problem which integrates 0 to infinity e to the power of minus x of x square, Do one thing, it's been x square. Let's take this has been your problem. May I know what would be your answer? So in first look, you has to have a clear cut idea that the problem which had been appeared in front of you, it's been a problem of a gamma integration. How did I know about it? The integration has been from 0 to infinity, and then comes e to the power of minus x, and then comes the component of x which has been raised to the power of n minus 1. Obviously, this has been in the same pattern. What you had to do, you had to compare both of the equation and you had to find out the value of n now. So may I know what would be the value of n? N minus of 1 is been equals to of 2, virtually speaking, n has been 3, and the result has been precisely equals to of gamma of n. So here it is going to be gamma of 3. Anyways, gamma of 3, if the problem appears in gate examination, definitely the values are supposed to be in numeric values. So what I would do, I would try to get the exact value of gamma of 3. So obviously I could have written this as 3 minus of 1 factorial, and the result is being precisely 2. Agreed? The problem is not been very difficult, but you had to have a little bit relativity. In the same sequence, if I take another question as well, if I take an integration from 0 to infinity of e to the power of, let's take minus x dx. Through the traditional method also we could have done its integration of e to the power of minus x is been minus times of e to the power of minus x. I would feed its upper limit as well as lower limit. But even with the help of gamma integration, also I could have solved this problem out. If we'll compare both of them, keep in mind the x to the power of n minus 1 term has been absent. Why it has been happening? Because x is been raised to the power of 0. So n minus 1 is been equals to of 0. The value of n has been found as 1. So virtually speaking, this is gamma of n, and that has been 1 over here. And gamma of 1 could have also been written as 0 factorial, and that is also been 1. So may I know what is going to be the answer for this given question? Obviously it is going to be 1 only. In the same sequence, if I take another question as well, deliberately the quality of the questions is been becoming a little bit tough over the steps. Now we had been taking e to the power of minus x, x to the power of 3 by 2 over dx. Again, if you'll compare both of them, n minus 1 is equals to of 3 by 2, virtually speaking, n is equals to 5 by 2. I could have written this as a 5 by 2. But with the help of factorial, I can't solve this problem out. Because the gamma of 5 by 2 would be factorial of 5 by 2 minus of 1, that is been 3 by 2. And obviously, you can't calculate the factorial of 3 by 2. So what I would do, I would write this as 5 by 2, gamma of 5 by 2. You can use this outcome. So anyways, the 5 by 2 has been a common factor, has been brought out. Then gamma of 5 by 2, just a minute here, 3 by 2 and 3 by 2. N minus 1 it has been written, no? 3 by 2 and 3 by 2. So here comes 3. 3 by 2 into gamma of 3 by 2 could have again been written as 1 by 2 gamma of 1 by 2. What's the best part of this calculation? End of the day, the gamma of half is already been calculated as a root pi. So So obviously 3 gets multiplied with 1, that becomes 3. 2 gets multiplied with 2, that becomes 4. So virtually speaking, it is been 3 divided by 4, and gamma of half is nothing but root over of pi. Gamma of half is nothing but root over of pi. So this kind of questions may get raised in different cases. So you had to have a little bit idea about these all cases. Yes. Is it been clear? Is it been clear to all of us? So till this point, I don't find any of the students would have any kind of doubt now. Agreed. So I think it's been the right time. I should also be taking few number of questions based on the concept of gamma integration, which we had seen just now. Which we have seen just now. Just a minute. So almost the question is been in the form of gamma integration. A little bit substitution is to be taken place, but still I feel that you guys would be able to conquer this problem out. This problem we didn't experience in chemical engineering year of 2012. The problem was framed by IIT Delhi. Read it carefully and tell me what must have been the most answer for this given question. And your time starts now. The problem had been asked in GATE Chemical Engineering year of 2012. The problem was framed by IIT Delhi. The problem says if A is a constant, then the value of the integral A square, where the integration goes from 0 to infinity, of x e to the power of minus ax dx is equals to ax dx is equals to. So my basic methodology would be convert this given problem into the standard gamma form of integration, and easily from there onwards we can get its answer. And this kind of the questions are been repeatedly asked in the GATE examination. So I would say this has been a kind of important question. Read it carefully and tell me what would be the best most answer. Tell me what would be the best most answer for this given question. Anyways, till this moment of point, you must have solved this problem out, because this has not been that difficult question such that it must be taking the 3 minutes. No, this problem should not take more than 2 minutes at any cost. My dear friend, once you'll compare this integration into the standard form of a gamma integration, the limit is been same. The lower limit is been 0, upper limit is infinity. Even e to the power of minus ax, if ax must have been clubbed together, must have become e to the power of minus x, definitely this problem comes into the standard form of a gamma integration. So only major hurdle has been this part. So what I would do, I would use the method of substitution. So ax is being kept t. That is why then only it would become a standard form of a gamma integration, which is been e to the power of minus x or e to the power of minus t, where the x or t has been the independent variable. So I have been feeding ax is equals to t. So virtually speaking, a times of dx is equals to dt. A times of dx is equals to dt. or dx is equals to of dt by a. dt by a. What I would do? Now the dx would be replaced by dt by a, ax would be replaced with t, and similarly x would be replaced by t by a. What about their limits? X and t. Lower limit of x was at 0 and upper limit of x is been at infinity. And now what I would do? X would be fed as 0, so virtually speaking t is also being 0. That means there had not been any change in lower limit. Now if I take the a has been a positive real quantity, if I'll feed x is equals to infinity, even the t would also become infinity only. T would also become infinity only. Agreed? Is that part clear to all of us? Yes, sir. Now what had been happening? Just try to understand. I will take the next step. I will start feeding the data over here. So here comes 0 to infinity. X would be fed as t by a. Then goes e to the power of minus ax. Ax is being t. Then goes dx. Dx is nothing but dt by a. dt by a. And here comes a square. Here comes a square. That is what it is now. That is what it is. T by a, dt by a square. I repeat, t by a, dt by a, and then a square. A square, a square, a square goes off, and you had just been left out with e to the power of minus t into t dt. And the value has been going from 0 to infinity. 0 to infinity. We'll compare this integration into the standard form of a gamma integration, which is being 0 to infinity e to the power of minus x into x to the power of n minus 1 into dx, where the x has been a independent variable. But here, instead the x, the independent variable is being t, so obviously the same formula could have been used. 1 is being in a place of n minus 1, so obviously it is going to be gamma of 2, and that is being 1 factorial. That is being 1 factorial. So the best most answer for this given question is been C. But what I feel, this problem must have been crafted in a better way. They must have said the a is been a positive integer. The value of a is a, where it is, a is a positive constant value. Why I am writing so? If a is been a negative real quantity, in that case the integration goes from 0 to minus infinity, and as it goes from 0 to minus infinity, rather having the result as 1, this must have been minus of 1, because the upper limit is been towards left hand side and lower limit is been at the right hand side. That is what I am saying. That is what I am saying. Agreed? No? Agreed? If you don't understand, let me show you why it has been so important. Why it has been so important. For that, let me go into the graph drawer. Let me draw how the e to the power of minus t into 2 would look like, and then you yourself would be able to understand what exactly I wanted to communicate through this. Let me write e to the power of minus t, e to the power of minus t, e to the power of minus t, e to the power of minus t into x. It was, no, x it was, yes, x. See, here the value is going to be infinity, actually minus infinity, because once you'll try to encapsulate the area from minus infinity to 0, no, the area has been huge, but it's been made towards the lower side. Obviously the worth must have been minus of infinity, and now you have been focusing over this area which has been finite in nature, and that we had calculated as 1, and this has been actually integration of 0 to infinity of e to the power of minus t into t dt. But if this must have been a minus value, this must have been an infinite in nature. Agreed now? So that is what I am saying. They must have been called the value of a as a positive real constant. So I think it's been the right time. I should also be going ahead with the next question as well. So let me go into the working board. So here comes the next question. See, this kind of the questions have been repeatedly asked, where the power has been raised to the 2. And this kind of the question you must have seen when we discuss about the normal distribution. So obviously we will take this problem as well. And usually this kind of questions are being repeatedly asked, usually in electrical, electronics and instrumentation, because the normal distribution has been a very, very important distribution as far as the three important branches are being concerned. So let me take this problem towards working board and we will try to smash this problem out. This has been a problem from physics. Your time starts now. Read it carefully and tell me what would have been the best most answer. Integration of x square e to the power of minus x square dx is equals to, and we had to correct the answer up to 2 decimal places. Read it carefully and tell me what would have been the best most answer. Read it carefully and tell me what would have been the best most answer. Read it carefully and tell me what must have been the best most answer for this given question. Tell me what would be the best most answer for this given question. 3 minutes are actually, I can say, adequate for this kind of questions. Anyways, again, this has been a standard form of a gamma integration. How did I know about it? The structure of the integration. E to the power of minus x square dx, integration from 0 to infinity. So almost all important thing is been indicated. This could have been a standard form of gamma integration, which includes x to the power of n minus 1, e to the power of minus x, lower limit, upper limit. Only and only page point is being e to the power. This must have been x, then I must have been happy, and the answer could have been come in 2 or 3 number of steps itself. But anyways, my basic agenda is to convert x square in a form of x. So what I would do, I would use the concept of what? Variable. And the x square is being fed as t. So the basic important point from where I would start this concept is been, this is been a form of standard gamma integration. And if it is so, we will convert few of the term which is been making this integration off from the gamma integration, that is been x square. X square is been fed as t. Once you feed x square is equal to t, what happens? We will take differentiation both other side. So it becomes 2 times of x over dx is equals to dt. Virtually speaking, dx could have been fed in a form of t, and that is been you yourself would be able to see over here. So here x dx is equals to dt by 2. Why I had taken x dx together? Because the dx has already been coming along with the x square. So obviously one x can have been taken a borrow from here. So the x dx could have been written as a dt by 2. So this part has been okay. If we'll talk about the limits now. See what had been happening. X has been mapped with t square, or x square has been mapped with t actually. X square has been mapped with t. If we'll focus over the lower limit of x, and that is being 0. So when the 0 is been fed with x square, obviously t is also being 0. And when the x is been fed as infinity, x square which is making it t, that would also be infinity. So as such, the limits would not change. E to the power of x square would become e to the power of minus t. Dx would become dt, and then the limit is not going to change over here. The limit is not going to change over here. So let me do the further calculation or investigation. So here it becomes, just a minute. So here it becomes integration which goes from 0 to infinity, although initially the variable has been x and now it had been changed to t. You can have a look of it. See, e to the power of minus x had become e to the power of minus t. Then x times of dx had become dt, and still we had a x over here. But as the integration is to be made with respect to the t, and x and t had also been connected to each other, so why don't we take a reference of x in a form of t? So the x could have been taken as t to the power of half. And this is the integration all about. This is not that terrible equation, no? So if you'll put little bit concepts of separation of variable, definitely you must have gone to this problem. So tell me, so what would have been the answer over here? Again, we will compare with the standard form of a gamma integration, which has the lower limit as 0, upper limit as infinity, e to the power of minus x, x to the power of n minus 1. Virtually speaking, this half is been in a place of n minus of 1. So hence, the result of n is being simply gamma of 3 by 2. Gamma of 3 by 2. So the gamma of 3 by 2 could have been written as factorial of 1 by 2. But as we know, the fractional number definitely will not go under the gamma. So we could have written this as a half gamma of half. And we have already seen gamma of half is stands for root over of pi. So the answer has been root over of pi over 2. Root over of pi over 2. So this has been the answer over there. This has been the answer over there. Root over of pi by 2. Root over of pi by 2. And this has been the correct answer. This has been the correct answer. Agreed now? So this part must be clear to all of us. In the same sequence, let me take few more number of questions based on the concept of gamma integration. Let me take this question as well. So let me take this question. And this problem is being raised in mechanical engineering, year of 2010. So let me take this problem towards working board. Read the problem carefully and tell me what must have been the best most answer for this given question. Read it carefully and tell me what must have been the answer. I need to perform the integration of 1 upon 1 plus x square from minus infinity to plus infinity. Read it carefully and tell me what must have been the answer then. What must have been answered? I need the answer from each one of you. So I need the comment over the live chat. I need the answer from each one of you. Tell me what must have been the answer for this given question. Tell me what must have been the best most answer for this given question. Anyways, this has been a problem of a convergent integration, because it's been a form of improper definite integral, because its lower limit starts from minus infinity and reaches to the plus infinity. So many of the students may also get trapped, sir, whether the answer may be divergent for this given question, and even the option must have been anything apart from this, like any option must have been given as a divergent. Many of the students may also get confused, sir, can it go into the form of divergent form of integration? So what I'm saying, this problem could have been a better problem if apart from this 4 number of option, one option must have been removed out and there it must have been written as a divergent within the bracket, no solution. My dear friend, I agree on this point that this has been a form of improper form of definite integral. Definite means where the limit is been defined by the predefined values. Obviously, it has been defined from minus infinity to plus infinity. But as we exactly cannot reach to the infinity or minus infinity, and that is why it has been also been a form of an improper integral. If the integration leads to a certain finite value, we call it the integration as a form of convergent form. Otherwise, it has been a divergent form. Anyways, keeping aside each and everything, let me focus over the function for which the integration has been made. That has been 1 divided by 1 plus x square. As the value of x has been increased in a positive sense or the negative sense, one thing has been quite sure, the magnitude would be keep decreasing. And as the magnitude has been keep decreasing, definitely the value of the area which has been confined from minus infinity to 0 and 0 to infinity is going to be a finite value. And as it has been a finite value, definitely once will consolidate together, it is going to be a finite value, either of the option. Either of the option. Did you understand what I am saying? If you don't understand, understand in this way. X square. If you'll feed the negative value of x or the positive value of x, virtually speaking, x square is making it positive. 1 divided by 1 plus x square is going to be a even function. So why don't we draw this down? So what we have been doing over here, we have been drawing this out. We have been drawing this out. So here comes our structure. Let me draw this graph. So here comes 1 divided by of, and where it goes, here it goes, 1 plus x square, 1 plus x to the power of 2. Yes, let me draw this down. See, you can see very well This curve has been a well behaved curve and it has been a bounded in nature. If you'll go towards the negative infinity, approximately after x is equals to minus 8 onwards, you can see the magnitude is almost null. So the area which will be enclosed between x-axis and the function is almost 0. So virtually speaking, the finite area which has been considered from minus infinity to plus infinity, although we start from a very large value of x, but still the area in this region is almost null. And similarly, once you'll go towards a very large value of x, even after 8, the area is almost null. So virtually speaking, if you talk about the area which will be considered by this function, which is being 1 divided by 1 plus x square, will it be a finite or will it be a infinite? Obviously, sir, it is going to be a finite, and hence it will converge to a finite value. So let me focus over this problem. This has been a function f of x is equals to 1 divided by of 1 plus x square. And if we'll talk about the area which is been considered by this structure, you'll see after 7 or 8, the area which will be considered is almost been 0. It's been like this. If I say you have to find the signed area from minus infinity to plus infinity of 1 divided by 1 plus x square over dx. What would be its worth? Being a even function, you could have calculated the area for the positive value of x only, and you could have multiplied with 2. Why? Because the area which has been considered from minus infinity to 0 and 0 to infinity is been quite same in magnitude as well as polarity. Why magnitude? Because it's been an even function. It can be folded and can be made over one another, and definitely at the same time it is been made towards upper side. So obviously it would be in the same form. And here comes 0 to infinity of 1 plus 1 by x square over dx. If we'll take the integration of 1 upon 1 plus x square, that part is already known to me, and that is been tan inverse of x. So here comes tan inverse of x. Lower limit is been 0, upper limit is been infinity, and that gets multiplied with 2. Anyways, tan inverse of infinity stands for pi by 2. Tan inverse 0 stands for 0, so pi by 2 minus of 0 stands for pi by 2 only. So the result which we get, it's been pi. So the area which should be considered by 1 divided by of 1 plus x square from minus infinity to plus infinity, the result is supposed to be pi. So the answer which we get for this given question has been D. D has been the best most answer. Did you understand what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. This problem could have been asked in this way as well. The area is going to be pi, or this must have been written as a divergent. Many of these students would start fearing just by seeing this option, because they do exactly not know about the concept of divergent. They do not actually know about the concept of divergence. Agreed? No? Till this point, I don't find any of these students would have any kind of doubt now. So I think it's been the right time. I should also be taking few more number of questions. So let me come back to the question once again. The problem is almost same kind which we had taken just now. Anyways, if you'll take sine inverse of x as a t, once you'll differentiate it, differentiation of sine inverse of x is going to be 1 divided by root over of 1 minus of x square. Once you'll feed it, we'll be getting its answer as well. Anyways, let me take this problem as well. This kind of the questions you must have solved many of the times in class 12th, which has been a kind of pet question in class 12th. Let me take this problem towards working mode. Read it carefully and tell me what must have been the best most answer. And your time starts now. Read it carefully. What must have been the best most answer? If you don't remember, let me give you a hint. Differentiation of inverse trigonometry of sin x is equals to 1 upon root over of 1 minus of x square. Root over of 1 minus x square, which has been towards downside. Tell me what must have been the answer over here. Tell me what would be the answer for this given question. I would like to have the input from each one of you. What has been the expected answer for this given question? Read it carefully and then tell me. Tell me what must have been the best most answer for this given question. It's been a simplest form of integration by substitution. I could have taken sine inverse x as t. Once you'll differentiate it, 1 divided by 1 minus x square would be extracted out, and easily you could have integrated. So this problem has been framed in that sense only. So what I would do, I would take sine inverse x as t, or t is being taken as sine inverse x. Sine inverse x. We'll take differentiation both other side. So the differentiation of sine inverse x is being 1 divided by of root over of 1 minus of x square over dx. Virtually speaking, 1 divided by root over of 1 minus x square with dx, this complete component will be replaced with t. And sine inverse of x would be replaced with t, and that would be raised to the power of 2. Virtually speaking, now this complete part has been free from x, either it's been a differential part or whether it's been the function itself. But at the same time, I had seen many of the time the student do mistake. They also had to substitute their limits as well. So what had been happening? Here comes x, here comes t, and the t is been sine inverse of x. At very beginning, we will be feeding x is equals to 0. X has been fed as 0. Sine inverse of 0 is being 0 radians. So obviously, the value is supposed to be 0 over here. And then comes 1. The x has been fed over here. Yes. And then sine inverse of 1 is being pi by 2. I know many of the students would also try to write this as a 90 degree. No, my dear friend, you can't do so. Why so? See, if x is been 1, you could have written 90 degree or pi by 2, both are okay. But what happens, you cannot deal with degrees with 1 minus of x square. Could you really understood what exactly I wanted to communicate? So whenever you had this kind of problem, so be safe in the sense, don't try to deal with a degree and all. If you really had a little bit doubts on when to deal with the degree, when to deal with the radian, I would request to each one of you, try to deal with the radian only. Reason, probability is not required at this moment of point. But don't deal with the degrees now. So what I would do over here, I would just feed this data integration by substitution, the result would remain same. The 0 would be fed as 0, 1 would be fed as a pi by 2. Initially, the lower limit of x was 0 and the upper limit of x was 1. And now it had been replaced with t. T has been reaching from 0 to 1. And then comes t square over dt. Yes, the integration of t square is going to be t to the power of 3 divided by 3. T to the power of 3 divided by 3. Yes, t is already been known to me actually. T is already been known to me, and that has been 1 upon 3 has been brought out, and that is going to be sine inverse x, and that goes from, yes, cube, and that goes from where to where? 0 to pi by 2. 0 to pi by 2. Yes, or straight away I could have written this as a lower and upper limit would also be taken as in a form of t only. So here comes t cube. Lower limit has been 0, upper limit has been pi by 2. 1 by 3 would remain as it is. Once pi by 2 has been raised to the power of 3, it becomes pi to the power of 3 divided by of 8. Divided by 8. So end of the day, the result which we are been expecting, it's been option A. It's been option A. So I don't think any of the students would have any kind of doubt, at least in this moment of mind. I think it's been the right time. I should also be taking the next question as well. The questions is again been based on the concept of integration. Let me take any kind of question now. This has already been done. Yeah, 57th question. It's been a bit of tricky question. I won't say it has been a difficult question, but until and unless the concept of bounded function is not been known, probably you will be finding a little bit difficulty in this problem. So let me take this problem now. So here comes the next question. Read this problem carefully and tell me what must have been the best most answer. And your time starts now. Read the problem carefully and tell me what must have been the best most answer for this given question. Read it carefully and give me the best most answer for this given question. Tell me what would be the answer for this given question. What would be the best most answer? My dear friends, read the problem carefully. Which one of the following integral is unbounded? The four different options are being given. Keep in mind, the problem is being a problem. Which of them are being unbounded? That means out of four number of options, the three options goes in the direction of a bounded. Yes. And the only and only one unbounded integration we are going to have out of four number of options which have been supplied along with this problem. So I would say in that sense it's been a better question, because first you had to iterate the three number of bounded integration, then only the fourth one which has been unbounded would be known to me. Anyways, if any of the student would try to do the calculation of an integration, definitely it would be a time taking process, and probably end of the day you may also get an incorrect answer. This problem is being a pure problem of a graphical understanding. If you actually know how the 10 of x looks, 1 upon 1 plus x square looks, x into e to the power of minus x looks, and similarly 1 divided with 1 minus of x looks, the problem has been done. Anyways, if the given integration has been unbounded, its area under the curve is going to be infinity, or its integration is going to be a divergent in nature. So virtually speaking, this problem could have also been addressed in a form of a convergency and divergency of a integration. Did you really understood what exactly I wanted to communicate? Let me focus over the 10 of x. Do you exactly know how the 10 of x looks? It is going to be an increasing function from 0 to pi by 2, and then from pi by 2 plus onwards again it starts from minus infinity, and again it increases. But as far as the structure of a 10 of x from 0 to pi by 4 is being concerned, because the lower limit has been 0 and pi by 4 is been an upper limit, the 10 of x would concede a finite area, and as it concedes a finite area, definitely its result is going to be a finite value. Virtually speaking, it has been a bounded in nature. So is it been answer? No sir, it won't be answer, because my answer is been the answer which gives you a unbounded integral form. This has been discarded. 1 divided by 1 plus x square. What happens if the value of x increases from 0 to 1 to 2, 3, 4? What happens? Obviously this function as a whole decreases, because the denominator has been keep increasing, and same goes with the negative value of x as well. If you start x is equals to minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, again this function keep decreases. So as far as the area under the curve from 0 to infinity is being concerned, the function has been continuously decaying. After x is equals to 8, 9 or 10, the magnitude would be almost null. If you add those area, if you don't add that area, hardly it makes sense. So virtually speaking, the integration of the area under the curve effectively has been from 0 to 8 or 9. Again it would give you a finite area, or virtually speaking this given function would lead a convergent value. Again this has been ruled out. X into e to the power of minus x. See, as the value of x increases, what happens? The x would increase, but e to the power of minus x would decrease, and probably x into e to the power of minus x, this function you must have also seen in a form of concept of maxima and minima. What happens? At a certain value of x, the extrema is being created, which has been the maximum most worth of this function, and thereafter it decreases. So then also I can say this is going to be a bounded or finite function, and that is why the area under the curve is also been a finite. This has been again discarded. And if we'll focus over the d, what happens? 1 divided by of 1 minus x, and the integration has been from 0 to 1. That is been the important point. See, from 0, 0.1, 0.2, I don't have any problem, but I reach to x is equals to 1 or near to x is equals to 1. What happens? It becomes 1 divided by 0, and it would suit up at a very high value at x is equals to 1. Virtually speaking, the area which will be created within that region, it is going to be infinite. If you want, I can show you. The structure of 10 of x looks something like this. Looks something like this. It is going to be this one, this kind. It would be this kind. And here comes x is equals to pi by 2. But my area of concern is been x is equals to 0 to pi by 4. 2 pi by 4. This one. My basic focus of area has been this reason. And has it been a finite or infinite? Obviously, sir, it had been finite actually. It had been finite. And as it has been finite, definitely it will converge to a finite value, or it has been a bounded in nature. 1 divided by 1 plus x square. How this curve would look? Axis. And as we had just been dealing with the x square, if we'll keep the value of x as negative, then also the value will always be positive. And at x is equals to 0, the magnitude is going to be 1. 1. Again, the integration is to be made from 0 to infinity. So the integration is to be made from 0 to infinity. Here comes x is equals to 0, and somewhere here comes x is equals to infinity. Virtually speaking, you yourself would be able to understand that the major area would be considered for a very least value of x, probably x is equals to 0 to x is equals to 8. And from there onwards, the magnitude would be so small that the area which would be considered in that region would be almost 0. Again, it has been bounded only. Again, it has been bounded only. Or it has been converging in nature or converged in nature. Converging in nature or result has been bounded. Now if we'll focus over the x into e to the power of minus x, that's what I'm saying. You must have seen this problem in case of maxima and minima. The curve is going to be something like this. At x is equals to 0, what happens? Obviously this becomes 0, and for the negative value of x it becomes negative. So virtually if you'll see, the structure is being kind of this. And you'll find somewhere at x is equals to probably e, I am not exactly remembering it, the maxima has been offered. Maxima has been offered. I need to take the integration from 0 to infinity again. And again you can see, although the function has been trying to increase, but at certain utmost value, again it has been decreased. So virtually speaking, again the result which is supposed to come is been this only. Is been this only. Yes. And this has also been converging or bounded. Converging or bounded. Last never the least, 1 divided by 1 minus x. You yourself would be able to understand how this curve would look like. Just a minute. See, if we'll feed x is equals to 0, but I'm saying if you feed x is equals to 0, if we'll feed x is equals to 0, the magnitude is going to be 1. So it will start from here actually, 1. And around x is equals to 1, it would lead the value as infinity. Let's take the reference of x is equals to 1. X is equals to 1. It's been like this. So the area which would be bounded within this region, you can see very well, it is going to be infinite. It is going to be infinite or unbounded. Agreed, no? Till this point, I don't find any of the students would have any kind of doubt now. So yes, D has been the best most answer. D has been the best most answer. Agreed, my dear friends? So I would request to all of you, the student who had not been onboarded with us, they should not give any second thought, and they can onboard with us with the affordable cost and the best quality. This year, we had really produced a tremendous result in engineering services examination also. This has just been a results from electrical and electronics department, AIR 7, 10, 11, 13 and 24. Pratigya batch has already been started from 15th of December onwards. Suja sir has started with signal system precisely at 7 p.m. He has been taking classes. And the code which you guys have been using is being GA1111. This code has to be used by all of us. Agreed? And all of the gem faculties are going to come together to teach you and to make you best in your corresponding subjects. The amount of money which you guys have been paying or you had to pay, keep in mind 6,110 and 8,332. This has been the subscription for the 15th month and 13th month. But for in occasion of 2023, the 23% is being made rebate on this amount, and now the amount of money which you have been paying is just been more than 4,000, more than 6,000. My dear friend, this is such a small span of amount. Even I would say to all of you, if you have been not preparing for the gate, then also it would be beneficial. Why? Because the live classes have been going on. If you're not been appearing or you could not appear in live class, you can take its recorded form as well. So you can just watch in a form of web series, which we watch in case of different OTT platform. Yes, the amount of money which you have been paying is being GA1111, and you had to call in this number if you had any kind of query regarding this coursework. My dear friend, if you have been willing to have a complete recorded course, what's been the benefit of the complete recorded course? You can choose your own sequence. Maybe a student might be comfortable with the analog and he wants to start from the analog. Might be the second case, the student he's been in 4th semester and he wants to learn the concept of gate as well as the concept related to his semester examination concurrently. He could have taken from the control as well. So the recorded form is the best in the way if you want to choose your own sequence. And if you have already been prepared and you want to brush up with few topics which you could not prepare in the last class. So this has been the case. For the mechanical, more than 1300 hours we are going to spend together. Civil more than 1300, electrical more than 1500, electronics more than 1400, and CS and IT more than 1100. And keep in mind the amount of money which you have been paying is almost null here. This has been approximately 3500 and approximately more than 4000. More than 4000. Usually we spend more in party if you'll compare with this amount. And same goes with the English course as well. English, that means our mode of communication is going to be Hindi, apart from the technical terminologies. But here our mode of communication is going to be entire in English, the way I had been dealing with you. And now for the mechanical more than 700, for civil more than 900, for electrical approximately 1100, for the electronics more than 950, and similarly for the CS and IT more than 950. And the subscription is been for the 15th month, you had to pay just 4,705. For 13th month, you had to just pay 6,416 rupees. And the code which you guys have been using, you had to use. And that is going to be this much. Agreed? So this has been a consolidation of the things which you have already learned. For the English, the amount of money which you have been paying, at least for upcoming few days, so that has been 3,421, 4,277, and same goes with the English, 4,705 and 6,416. Yes. And even if we'll focus over our G drive and pen drive course, that has also been a drastically decreased. And I can say at approximately 6 to 7 months back, this was our prime product. Many of the topics had come from this product only. And if you'll focus over the all India mock test, this has been a very important information. You need not to pay even a single penny for that. And you can appear with our all India mock test. Already the 4th of December and 18th of December is in passed down. So now you can appear in 8, 15, 22 and 29th. Agreed? So probably this problem must have been clear to all of us. So if we'll say A, B, C and D, the A concedes a finite value of area, the B concedes finite value of area, C concedes a finite value, and D concedes an infinite value. So obviously apart from D, all of them are been bounded. So D has been the best most answer. If you want, I can draw this down. So how the 10 of x looks, for that I need to go to the calculator, and then we will take 1 divided by 1 plus x square as well. See, so let me draw. 10 of x. Let me rub this down. This has been the first option, no? First option. The first option was 10 of x. So let me write 10 of x over here. 10 of x over here. So how it looks? See, we'll see that. And the second function was I can recall it 1 divided by of, where it has been 1 divided by of 1 plus and then comes x and then comes raised to the power of 2. Yes, that is also done. The third equation was x into e to the power of x. No, it was x getting multiplied with okay, e to the power of minus x, where it had yeah, e to the power of minus x. Yes, and the last one was 1 divided by of 1 minus x, or I could say this as 1 minus of x raised to the power of minus 1. This one. Yeah. See, the 4 different curls are been made. This reddish curve has been the curve for the tan of x. And you yourself would be able to understand somewhere at pi by 2 it had been ranging towards infinity. Pi by 2 is approximately 1.5, that you can see very well. But I had taken the reference of 0 to pi by 4. And once you'll go from 0 to pi by 4, the area which is been considered by this red curve is going to be finite. So obviously, sir, this one, no, this one. This one is going to be bounded at least from 0 to pi by 4. But if we'll take a reference from 0 to pi, the result is going to be something different. If I take the reference of 1 divided by 1 plus x square, this has been a bluish curve. And the integration has been made from 0 to infinity. You yourself would be able to understand the area has been continuously decreasing, and probably from x is equals to 6 or 7 onwards, the area is almost null. So if we'll concede the area, it is going to be again finite in nature. If I take the next one, and that is been x into e to the power of minus x. This has been this curve. Yeah. This one again, the area has been finite. The last curve probably didn't so. No, it didn't so. Let me draw this again. Let me take the another one. This becomes 1 divided by of 1 minus x. 1 minus x. This has been closed here. Let me come back. Yeah. Now it comes 1 divided by 1 minus x. See, this has been keep increasing. At 1, it is making the magnitude as infinity. So if you will try to encapsulate the area between 0 to 1, what would happen? It has been absolutely divergent in nature. It is absolutely divergent in nature. Did you understand what I'm saying? Did you understand what exactly I want to say? Tell me what must have been the answer for this given question. Agreed? No? Agreed? Okay then. Let me terminate the today's session. We'll meet tomorrow with the same enthusiasm. Till then, bye bye. Take care.